they had strongly implied. "Do you want to talk to Liz St. John? She's keen to get home," Georgia said. "Who's that?" "Oh, the woman who found the body." My first instinct was to tell Georgia to do it. I spent a lot of time trying to give her jobs that she couldn't get wrong. In truth, my reluctance had more to do with the motivation I'd been struggling to find lately. I had seen the woman already, sitting in the back of a police car with the door open, a blanket around her shoulders, her eyes wide with the kind of stare that saw nothing. Make an effort, I told myself. "I'll speak to her. They're ready to move the body, if you don't mind looking after that." "Of course." Georgia sounded keen and competent, and at least one of those things was true. She was getting a lot better, I reminded myself. I still found myself checking up on her, but 9 times out of 10 she'd got everything right. It was really just the thought of the 10th time that kept me on edge. And speaking of being on edge, Liz St. John was doing a fair impression of someone who'd reached that state some time ago. She was holding a cup of tea, probably not the first one she'd been given. Her other hand was heavily bandaged. "Mrs. St. John, I'm DS Maeve Kerrigan. I understand you found the body." She nodded. "I didn't know. I said to the police when they came, I had no idea. I would never have opened the door if I'd known." "You opened the car door?" A convulsive nod. She was thin and pretty, usually, I guessed, though tiredness had put bags under her eyes and dulled her skin. Fair hair, fat diamond stud earrings, another few carats on her fingers, and a mulberry bag at her feet. A well-off woman who had blundered into her worst nightmare. She was staring at me with matching interest, seeing, I supposed, someone whose life was nothing like her own. I was wearing a dark trouser suit with a plain white top underneath. Minimal jewellery, minimal makeup. I was tall and striking enough to attract attention, but I tried to look neutral when I was at work. What was routine to me was shocking to her, and I reminded myself to be gentle with her. "Go back to the start. Why were you at the hospital?" "I was chopping carrots for the children's tea. Battens." She half laughed. "They don't even like carrots, you know. They wouldn't have eaten them." "And you cut your hand?" I prompted. I wanted to get her out of there before the body was moved. It was behind screens, but there were things you didn't need to hear, never mind see. "We have these knives. They're Japanese, very expensive. They're far too sharp. I must have been distracted and I sliced into my hand." She grimaced. "I had to wait for Hughie, my husband, to come home before I could go to the hospital, to mind the children. So I was quite late getting here, and then it was a 4-hour wait. They made me have an X-ray. Anyway, they were nice to me. I was worried that I was wasting everyone's time by coming here, but..." She trailed off, lifting her hand, showing me the bandages. "What time did you leave the emergency department?" "Coming up on 2 in the morning. It was still busy." "It's always busy," I said, with feeling. "Yes. Anyway, I came out here and the parking machine was broken." She gestured in that general direction. "There was a notice on it. Coins only. No notes. I mean, who carries that much change? And the amount they charge for parking, well, I didn't have it. I was short £2. Everything was closed and there was no one around. I was stuck, and Hughie was at home with the kids, so I couldn't get him to come and rescue me. I knew the receptionists wouldn't be able to give me change, but I thought I might find someone to help. I was about to go back into the building when I saw the car." "Hassan Dawood's car?" She nodded. "Why did you go over to it? Was there something about it that attracted your attention?" She looked surprised. "I knew